good day. It's the second day of July 2021, and I'm going to do another budget and employment outlook report. This one's going to be on the United States Capitol and the United States courts. These appropriations, this is the report of the House Appropriations Committee, their proposed budget. So the president submits his proposal, and then the House Appropriations Committee does their proposal. So this is what I think is most likely to happen. And this is again is the report of the House Appropriations Committee. Yesterday I did one on Department of Homeland Security, and you saw a lot of increase in protective services, particularly, specifically the Secret Service and TSA. Well, today we're going to look at the United States Capitol and the United States courts, which is in a separate, and also the Office of National Drug Control Policy, the drug czar. He's getting money too. So I'll put this on and then I'll talk about it. Okay, so as I said in the intro, this will be the Capitol Police, the federal courts, and the Office of National Drug Control Policy. And these different things are thrown together kind of. ONDCP is under the White House. The federal courts, they've gotten an appropriation, and then the legislative branch, the Capitol Police. So this will be the budget, but also the employment outlook. And first to look at the Capitol, the legislative branch. For the next fiscal year, they appropriate a total of $4.8 billion, an increase of $581 million over last year. And the intent of this, and you can see where this is going, okay? Protects our democracy with funding, building on the emergency supplemental bill passed last month to secure the Capitol building, improves training and bolsters it's not funny wellness support for the Capitol Police who were attacked on January 6th. I'm not making fun of anybody, okay? I'm just saying that, you know, this was obviously the most traumatic event a lot of them have ever seen or will see, and it's, you know, I guess a lot of them are really shaken up by this, and I don't know, you know, thank God they don't have to go into houses and raid houses where you have armed people or arrest armed fugitives. You know, they're security guards, and it is what it is. Okay, and they're going to spend more money to hire more people and pay interns. Okay, the Capitol Police, $603.9 million, an increase of $88.4 million above last year's level. And funding will allow for the hiring up to 2,112 sworn officers. Now that's about a double the size of their force. So again, as I said, the protective forces are going to really be increased, you know, so they're basically doubling the size of the department. And they're also going to hire civilians to help out. And so they're going to have, when this is done, they're going to have more officers guarding this Capitol building than we have DEA agents, than we have deputy marshals. You know, they're not, again, like I said, they don't skimp on their security, okay? And it's also going to, so on and so forth, with training and whatnot, okay? So they're doubling the size of the Capitol Police, basically. The U.S. courts, they're just getting a little bit of an increase over last year's measure to support security needs and protective services in courthouses as identified by the U.S. Marshals. This seems to be mostly security systems, maybe court security officers. I haven't seen the DOJ budget yet. And then they're going to have more money to hire more probation and pretrial people. So they're going to get a lot of money, $331 million above what they had to support pretrial and probation, because when a person is released on, you know, recognizance or bail, they report to pretrial. Usually it's a branch of the U.S. probation officers who also do parole. They're all combined into one, and they report to probation. They wear an electronic bracelet or whatever. So again, this will support, you know, the move to not incarcerate people. So that's what you're looking at there. Okay, law enforcement pork, ONDCP. This was founded by President George H.W. Bush, 41, and Bill Bennett was the first drug czar. And Bill Bennett was a member of the cabinet, and he left, but his office remained. And now it's basically not a very important office at all, but it still exists. And they want 300 million, a little bit of an increase for the high intensity drug trafficking areas program. Now, what the hell is that? Okay, what they do is they support task forces. They get money. In this case, they're getting 300 million, a little bit of an increase. And I was a supervisor in a HIDTA task force. What they do is they provide vehicles for the state and local cops. In some cases, they pay their overtime. But they also have a huge bureaucracy of their own. They have their own analysts, and they write analytical reports, which kind of piggyback on the DEA reports. So, again, they have a lot of employees in HIDTA, and I just think they should just give the money to DEA and close HIDTA completely, and ONDCP. It's basically worthless, my opinion, but, that's just my opinion. 110 million for grants, drug-free communities programs. And then here is the response of the Capitol Police to the report by the U.S. Senate. And you can't see the whole thing, but they basically blame it on the FBI. This is the Capitol Police and every other agency. They didn't know that thousands of people were planning to attack the Capitol because nobody told them. And it was a failure of intelligence, according to the Capitol Police. So there you have it. There's going to be a huge increase in the number of Capitol Police, double the size of the department. What are they going to do with all of those officers? I have an idea. It's a theory. I didn't put it on the screen, but there has been an increase in the number of threats allegedly received by congressional representatives in the last 6 months. So I would think a lot of them will probably be wanting to get details, which, if you don't know what a detail is it's basically a group of bodyguards that follow you and help your family and that kind of thing. So my guess, who am I, but my guess is that's where it's going to go, where the majority of personnel are going to go. There was also a little brief thing that I put up there actually came out of the chief of Capitol Police office, where they said they had no intelligence about the so-called insurrection on the 6th of January. And again, what this was, obviously everybody knew, or I knew, that hundreds of thousands of people were coming to Washington, D.C. So that was well known. Now, typically a prudent person would have, ensured that the Capitol was secured. Obviously, they weren't coming to attack the Capitol. Like any other demonstration, the vast majority of people come for good purposes. They don't come to destroy or break into buildings or anything like that. But if you have a small number of them, and then the psychology of a mob, it can quickly get worked up. And you could have, in that case, they didn't have enough officers on duty, and they were able to intrude into the Capitol. Now, fortunately, this group was not like the demonstrators last summer. They didn't destroy the statues or paint ACAB on the wall or, torch anything. It was just they just walked through the halls, basically, had their picture taken, and a bunch of them got arrested and whatever. But again, the protective services, that's where you're going to see the biggest increase in federal employment. And I haven't seen the DOJ proposal come out of the Appropriations Committee yet. But when they do, rest assured that I will report it. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your kind comments, and have a good day.